Everyone, we're back in another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Tied back up once again by both Nick and Steve. As today we are bringing you Jiren taking on Hellku. Like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them; they're there for a reason. But let's get into it. What's going on, guys?
Nothing. What he said.
So both these decks actually got support from Anniversary, which is pretty awesome. And we've actually already seen Jiren once, I think last week on the channel. So Nick, talk about Hellku a little bit. I know we did drop the profile earlier this week as well. So just kind of real quick recap in case you missed that video.
Yeah, the profile hasn't changed too much besides just adding in the new cards, because I think the consensus is pretty much unanimous for every one of these cards. Every anniversary box card is good for their archetypes. These two are no different. The Trunks is really good for helping recur your unison if your opponent decides to get rid of it, and then your new Goku dual attacker helps facilitate your boss monster plays. Having a card that just says your opponent can't do something is probably one of the most powerful effects this game has ever seen. And having two major effects on a boss monster saying where you can't activate extra cards and you can't activate battle cards is ridiculous. It's probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just having I don't remember if it comes up much in this gameplay, but the other games that I got to play where I had the effect pop off, you every time the opponent was like, "What?"
It's one of those things where it brings back the idea of like, if you're playing against Hellku, it's very scary being at 2 life, because if they can pop that off, you're in trouble.
Well, now it's even at 4 life. So pretty much at any, like, whenever you're awakened, like, there's always the threat of you losing,
I
essentially.
thought the extra one was just for the first attack.
It is,
Okay.
but most decks these days rely on their battle card negates anyway. So
That is true.
I mean, granted, there are some times where it does come up. I mean, but that's why Cooler exists, I guess. So, and which got reprinted too. So again, another really good reason. Now, for what Hellku actually does, for people who aren't too familiar with it, it wants to reveal the top card of its deck and put it in the drop. Now, some of those cards have effects where they get played from the drop if they're revealed. The text is very specific. It's not just milling. You have to reveal the card first and then put it in the drop in order to get the effect off. The leader facilitates that with Spirit Boost, and then you also have the Android 18 Unison, which is on the board as well. That card essentially helps you tremendously. It's +2 as you peek the top 3 cards of your deck and put them in any order. So you're going to see your cards before you draw them, so you know exactly what you're going to pick up, what you're going to put down, what you're going to be able to reveal and put in the drop. So it has a lot of it has a lot of sequencing where you really do need to pay attention to what cards you're drawing and what cards you're putting in what order, just because you're going to be milling yourself. So it's it's a really it has a high skill ceiling, but I think it's a lot of fun. I had a good blast playing it initially, and just even with the new support cards, it just made it better.
And I know Hellku, it's aggro when it needs to be, but it's also, your build in particular is very defensive of all the counterplays you got. But Jiren, on the other hand, it can be very aggressive. So I feel like for you two guys, it comes down to like, do you see your pieces?
Yeah, I've played against Steve multiple times when he's been playing Red Jiren, and with the new support cards, like, it's just put it over the top. Just all the stuff he's able to do for next to nothing is crazy. Talk about it a little more, Steve.
Yeah, the dispo just shows out. I can't talk enough about it. The dispo puts markers on, draws cards. I mean, people can go for the dispo, but in all actuality, it's just a simple 1-drop. So go ahead, if you want to swing at it, use any extra cards or extra effects that you want to get rid of it. That's fine. I'm still going to draw cards and evolve and stuff for free either way. So I don't know, simple game mechanic that works.
This was one of the things where it allows you to use the -7 on Topo now, right? Because back in the day, like, I don't think anyone ever really got to the -7, but Dispo now turns that on. Like, it's almost like guaranteed for you every game I think I've seen you play, right?
Yeah, at least once. I would like for it to pop off at least 2 or 3 times, but honestly, when it comes down to it, before this anniversary box came out, it was always that last life that I had trouble on turn 3 or turn 4, trying to swing away, and it just never happened. And Topo being able to use that -7 effect is just amazing.
This is one of those situations where I was mentioning earlier, like Hellku could be very aggro when it needs to be, and Nick, you're showing that right now. Like you've cleared his board. Granted, you did not see Topo, which is I think it's like a key factor for this deck to kind of like pop off. So Nick, you're taking I think full advantage of this right now.
Yeah, I want to make sure the board is cleared going in on his turn. I don't want him to have an established pieces to swing at me with. I want him to recover as much as possible, but seeing what this deck can do now with the support, the recovery is ridiculous. Um, you'll see it here in his turns going forward. But yeah, I have to put everything I can into making sure his board's clear so I can have my defense in a better position. And it's honestly a struggle. It's not easy. It's not easy keeping up with them.
I actually played against both you guys this past weekend, and yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, he took me down to 4 right there, and I'm still unawakened. So I went ahead and used the take a life, search top 7, play a 1-drop in rest mode, draw a card, play another top 5 searcher, get another Jiren or Topo Unison. It's just a whole bunch of free stuff and 1-drops. I love it. But yeah, his Hellku's turn 2 did scare me a little bit. I didn't expect to go down to turn 4, or I'm sorry, 4 life. I was hoping to stay up at least at 5. That way I could go down to 4 on my turn 3. But either way, I'll go down to 3 for one more search on that Jiren, and we'll just start it all over.
Yeah, here's where I feel like the game shifted completely out of my favor. The second that Unison hit the board, like all your effects were able to pop off, and you were able to get full value pretty much everything. It was wild just watching. Oh, this does this, this does this. Oh, I get to draw, I get to search, I get to draw again. Oh yeah, this adds 4 markers. Like it was, you were doing a ton of stuff on your turn. It was ridiculous.
You even tapped out to do all this stuff. That just was the level of like confidence that you've gained with playing this deck.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably the third deck that I played when I first started playing, however many months or years ago. But it just sort of comes natural to me. And this deck really does well when you don't know what the heck the other guy's deck does. You just, because either way, you're just playing your cards, drawing cards, and swinging away. And I think I've said that in previous videos. That's sort of the way that I play until my skill cap gets a little bit higher. But it seems to work for me for now.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed with Jiren as well is it does have the ability to evolve on defense to get effects off. Prior to this match, I never saw it happen too much when I was playing you, Steve, but even now with all the support, you're able to do that defensively, which is wild. Especially just proccing off multiple effects on the opponent's turn is tremendously strong. Like the support did actual justice for this deck. It's crazy.
Like I said,
Yeah.
like before, like Dispo, that's the I think the power of Dispo because it's a minus Spirit Boost 1, right? In order to evolve during your opponent's turn.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you're just getting a marker because Dispo adds 2, so like you're minusing 1 to gain 2 markers. Like you're not losing any. Oh wow. Yeah, pan works.
Yeah, it works. And not only that, Topo, even once per turn on the opponent's turn, when you evolve, you still gain that marker back. So you're not losing any markers on the initial spirit boost, but the actual spirit boost effect, I don't think is limited. So I think if I had the energy or whatever to get that out, I could just keep doing it on each attack
I think
defensively as well.
I know Dispo is a limit 1 de facto, right? But
Yeah,
yeah.
Dispos limit 1, but the actual leader effect of the Spirit Boost is not. You don't gain the marker back after the second time, but either way, if I have umpteenth markers on my Topo Unison, I will Spirit Boost if I can do it defensively every time.
Yeah, and what we're seeing a lot with most decks these days is pretty high spot removal, but not enough actual board clearing. And I feel like that's a really good balance for the game, but especially in decks like this where you can play offensively and defensively, like just throwing cards out on the board, it makes spot removal not that great. It's like it takes a lot to keep up with that type of pressure. And just being able to flood the board like that is awesome. Like you can't speak any more of it. Like not only the fact that he shut me down with the pan, but how can one deck for 3 energy remove all that's on his board? It's just not seen. Like it's not seen without like big board wipes, and they're few and far between these days.
And even if you did, my Jirens are free, if not 1 energy. So
Yeah. So it doesn't take much for you to get back into your stuff. I feel like they gave Jiren the Meki Kabora treatment, the black one, where they just gave it so much support that they really wanted the deck to be good that they just gave it everything.
about time.
I mean, it's like we said at the beginning of this video. Like, I think every deck got something. Like everything in the anniversary. Like this was like one of the first few anniversaries where it's like everything's good. It doesn't matter. Like it's just good.
So here we have the classic robot play. I mean, it's being not able to attack my turn 3. I just pretty much had to keep it all up for defense. And like Bancroft said before, this deck can be pretty defensive. Just the yellow good stuff you're teching into the deck just makes it really hard to push through. And robot is a testament to that.
I will say, like, I'm not sure where you're at currently in this match, Nick, but like looking at this board, he has plenty to tap down if he wanted to.
Sweating bullets, Bancroft, and sweating bullets. So it just keeps going. It's crazy, honestly.
Now, correct, those 1-drops are skillless for the turn, right? But you can still combo them off. You can still evolve on top of them just fine.
Yes.
So we try to block up as much as possible.
Now I know you have Steadfast Ally in your deck. Obviously, I guess you didn't see it there because that probably been a better play to do that first and then follow up with Vegeta afterwards.
Right, but at this board state for him, there's no reason for him to play more cards. I mean, he did, but
yeah. Oh man,
yeah, there's just what not, but I'm at a loss for words. There's what can you do in a situation like this? I mean, thankfully I had 2 robots. Now he has to tap 2 things down for every swing, but even still, like that gets rid of pretty much all of my floodgates for my follow-up defense. So I'm really making Hail Mary plays at this point. Like it's aggressive.
I mean, he has it. Like there's those 2 1-drops right there. Just rest those things, you know. There you go. Yeah, that works. Shit.
And we release from Evilit, so we'll only take 1. Which, I mean, say what you will. I mean, the yellow defensive package, especially
Hands down.
Yeah, especially with the Unison stuff, is great. I mean, I wouldn't be alive if this was any other deck. I would not be alive right now anyway. This would have been game over forever ago. I didn't want to even get hit once, so
Yeah, no.
making me waste a lot.
If you get hit once, I mean, that's still potentially just 1 more attack coming at you. You know.
Yeah, but the pause I think is what saved me at the end of the day. being able to tap his last card, now he officially cannot attack me anymore, which is wild to say, but oh, good lord, it took a while. And now that I've established Poutine, say he does have an off chance overrealm, I can tap something down to even prevent that last swing too. So I'm safe.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the sigh of relief I breathed. It's just like I'm finally. Because even with all the recursion that he's done, I mean, Steve, your hand was pretty big the entire game through. Like, look at that. Like,
Yeah. And I do know
Like-
Steve does have one testing in his hand right now as well. So, which
yeah, all that aggression for pretty much no resource cost is crazy.
I'm curious at the order that you're gonna do this, Steve. So the correct order would be to let the first attack go through whatever he swings at, then evolve to proc Poutine. So that way, if you do anything else for this turn, you're safe.
I'm not sure if that's what I was thinking at the moment. But yeah, that's probably what I should have been thinking of.
Yeah, so a little fun fact, I actually played this incorrectly. That Goku, the one that I just played, it is from the new set. It's the dual attacker, but it draws you a card. The second effect is what I was trying to go for, to just try to Hail Mary go off, return the Dragon Fist. That card, it says it has to be in your hand, the SS4 Goku, in order to get the effect, and you reveal the return of the Dragon Fist. I thought it had to be on the board. I mean, granted, it didn't change much. I mean, I probably would have just kept it in hand anyway. But my impression was it had to be on the field. Then you remove it from the field. Then you play your turn of the Dragon Fist. But he removed it already, so it didn't really matter. But with the effect of Return of the Dragon Fist, he wouldn't have been able to activate any of his battle cards, so super combos would have been turned off. He wouldn't be able to negate the first swing pretty much with anything. So the first swing was definitely going to go through. Um, but yeah, it was just a small misplay on my part. Again, it isn't changing much because if I don't get the win now, it's just not happening. But considering what's in his hand, it's not looking good.
And if correct, that Sideman token has blocker as well, per that super combo's wording. If I recall correctly, yeah.
It does, but it doesn't mean much to me, honestly. Because one, I think my Poutine effect should have procced, which I missed.
You did it on his Jiren.
Did on Jiren. But even still, it doesn't. The Unison has an effect when you activate Spirit Boost. You switch a battle card to rest mode. So, being able to proc the Spirit Boost off Return of the Dragon Fist would proc the resting effect on the blocker token. Which, if I remember correctly, I think what I do is, I load up the Unison here so I can Spirit Boost and get that auto, because that's exactly what I was looking for. Tap the blocker, and then typically, if I had the support card right, he wouldn't have been able to activate any extra cards for this, but I didn't do it correctly, so he's able to respond.
Yeah, but we saw a test. Oh, was not expecting that one. Okay.
It works.
Yeah, it puts down to it's starting naturally, right?
25K, so
Okay.
it is a 5K right now. I mean, honestly, you could have taken the one marker and just negged it off. I probably would have just scooped right then and there, but here I'm pretty much know the game's over. So at this point, I just let him. I just say, just swing with something, and you're gonna win. So I was like, I just want to quit, but we'll just play it out for the camera.
And there it is. Yep. Overwhelm straight into a double strike crit. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind his buttons, links, check them out. Bye.